I've been teaching guitar since the 70s, believe it or not. Somehow, it's still happening. And the way I structure the lesson, it's a half-hour lesson. The students come in, first thing we do is tune very carefully. And we try to not be all hyped up, just try to calm down a little bit and just tune. You know, when you tune, sometimes people kind of go, I'm like, you're driving me crazy. Just relax and just tune and hear that E and kind of internalize the sound of an E and tune just slow, get it perfect, move on to the next string, A, D, just move on over to G, get the B and the E. And then we move into my chord book, which I do have some available. And the first lesson in the chord book is something I call chord yoga, which I've introduced it on this channel quite a few times. It's the first page in the book. And I think I'll show you what that's like. But I'm going to run you through the chord yoga here. But the next thing I do in the book is some sight reading, which when we sight read, I try not to make it a stress fest. I try to just do a small example, not too much. I don't push them over the edge. We just do, have it kind of assigned maybe one or two little songs per month. And so we'll do that song for like 5 lessons. And we might move forward into the next month. So we're just knocking out our March songs, and we might work on an April song too. They're just little short examples of sight reading, the standard staff, no tablature. And, if they don't do really well, we just slow it down, review, take it easy. So my chord yoga, after you tune, I have them strum the E minor 7. That's with the middle finger, 5th string, 2nd fret. When you strum, I don't have you kind of punch it. I have you kind of rake. Let that pick drop across the strings. Sounded weird. Maybe go this way. E minor 7, then we move over to an A9. I like that chord. Then we go back to E minor 7. So I'm trying to teach that middle finger lives at 2nd fret. Then we go to an E minor, to an A2. 8 suspended 2nd. I might show how those chords could sound. But we really don't get into the strumming stuff. We're just kind of doing whole notes. Next we do an E major to A minor. Then E7 to A minor 7. So we're just showing shapes that are similar or identical, just one string over. Next we go to a C chord to F major 7. So those are similar but not the same shapes, but they sound sounds like normal guitar, right? Next we go to the D chord, to a D2 or D suspended 2nd. I just call it D2. D suspended 4. Then we shoot that down to a C2, to a G, and sort of practice moving through those. You could go, once you get strumming, you know, those could sound pretty cool. So that's the first page of my chord book. Then on the next page we start doing strumming patterns. But I know I was doing strumming patterns. The first few times I just have them do one strum per chord. We're trying to get, you know, more into listening versus, you know, scrubbing away at it. I always say your fretting hand has to know the shapes before your strumming hand gets ahead of it. Then we move on to the sight reading, like I was saying. After that, then we move on to maybe scales, arpeggios, riffs, popular melodies, rock and roll anthems, this and that, and then also requests of what they want to learn. And that's what I do in a half-hour lesson, and it's pretty productive. So in case you're a guitar teacher, you might, you know, borrow some of that if you want, or if you're interested in a study program for yourself, maybe start with chords, move on to sight reading, then move on to some fun stuff. Call that about a half-hour practice. I think you'd be making some progress. So that's my 2 cents on practice and teaching. And my book, which is available. It's called Guitar Chords. And each copy's $20 if you like one. It's got 46 pages of chords, mostly hand-drawn. It's pretty cool. It's not a lot of text in it. It's mostly diagrams. And it's just kind of the way I learned, the chords I learned, the chords I use, the chords I study. But of course, you know, no one chord book is going to have every chord, and no one chord book is perfect. Mine is far from perfect, but it's what I did at that time. I put it out in 2019, and I'm thinking about a second chord book. This would be more about progressions. All right, that's it. We'll see ya.